Now, this week, can I say a victory? And really, let's just herald it. It's a great way to end the week, in actual fact. Fantastic way to end the week that if you resist wokery and wokedom, critical theory Marxism, and you continue to resist it, eventually common sense, you would hope, but also the common people will rise up and say enough. And that's exactly what's happened at Auckland University. When students and staff rose up against the compulsory teaching of essentially Maori propaganda, not Maori, but Maori propaganda. They're quite different and quite distinct, and a particular political view of the world from a Te Ao Maori point of view. Well, the Senate and the Council now, the University Council, have said no more. That compulsion will no longer need to apply. Undergraduate students at Auckland University will no longer need to be indoctrinated. And one of the architects of that opposition was our next guest, ACT MP Parmjeet Parmar, and she joins us now. Parmjeet, you must be very happy, I would imagine, with that outcome, but did you think when you first started you might win?
Thanks, Michael. And yes, I would describe it as a victory, as you said before. So that was the goal. And I'm really pleased that we got this result for students. We are very happy because you know that I raised this concern even before this paper was rolled out officially this year. And then when students saw the content of this paper, they came on board as well. So yes, it's a great result for students.
I'll tell you what really hastened their opposition to this was when they had to pay for it. And I can tell you that from my daughter's experience because she's a first-year student at Auckland University this year. She's at a hall of residence. There's a whole series of people who have got political opinions in that hall of residence, including my daughter, who would lean strongly to the left, I have to say. She said there wasn't one person in that hall of residence who didn't sign the petition to end that particular compulsion, and they were appalled by both the compulsion and the cost. Was there anybody who actually supported this at the end of the day?
So I'm really grateful to all those students, those who signed the petition and ensured that university was not able to deny that this is a real issue. So we could see that university in the start kept defending, but it came to the point the outrage became so loud that they could not basically stop reconsidering their own decision. And they realized that it was a big mistake. So I'm really pleased and really good to see that so many students came on board, so many parents and staff members as well. And that was the whole issue. And we could see this from the start, that this is actually not a good decision. It is a big mistake. And very pleased to see that university has realized that.
Elizabeth Rata, who would have also been leading the charges here, says that despite that, there are still education courses at Auckland University which have a compulsory Māori course. Now, I discovered one, Parmjeet, and that is to Auckland University law students in their first year. They have a compulsory Māori course taught to them by no lesser an infamous character than Eru Kapakingi. I don't know if you're aware of that. Are you aware of that?
I have heard that there are some papers. They are going to have this paper, basically a compulsory paper for some of these courses. What I'm planning to do is I'm going to keep a close eye on this course and see how it's relevant, because that is what the university is claiming, that this paper is going to be relevant to some degree programs. And that is something that I'm going to do. That is my next thing. Next year, we are going to see how closely it is relevant. If it is not relevant, then again, I'm going to raise the alarm and discuss this matter with the university, and hopefully the students will come on board as well, because that is what university claimed for this paper as well, for when they made this paper compulsory for all undergraduates, that this is going to be relevant, it's going to help students, but it was realized it's not helpful to students. Actually, rather than helping, it actually was hurting students, because in terms of time, money, resources that students spend on this paper, they didn't gain any educational basically return for the money, time, and resources they spent on this paper. So I'm keeping a very close eye on what's happening.
Well, I've got two good examples of that. Would be the Bachelor of Education Teaching at Auckland University, which is still run by Marxists, and the Bachelor of Nursing, which have compulsory
That's
Māori
right.
courses. Now, listen,
And even engineering, I heard, and
engineering,
medicine.
architectural studies, urban planning, for God's sake, health sciences.
That's right. That's right.
I mean,
So yeah, I will be really keeping a close eye on the content of this paper to see how relevant it is. And if it is the same kind of paper, then definitely I'll be raising alarm again.
one of the things that my daughter also mentioned, Zoe, is that when she came to study the paper, well, study the paper is the wrong word, the level of study, she said, listen, it was probably pitched at about year 9 or 10. So it was an insult to the intellect, she said, of undergraduates as well, and pitched in such a way that it was clearly polemics rather than than education. So given that those sorts of people at Auckland University who put that together still exist, do you consider that this is going to be an ongoing crusade? You are really going to need to continue to keep the pressure on?
I will have to, given what we have heard recently. But I think universities need to realize that their decisions should be student-centric. And if they are not student-centric, then there will be backlashes like this one. And I hope that this, just what happened in regards to WTR paper, sends a very strong message to not just the University of Auckland, but all universities around New Zealand.
Well, that's the other issue as well, too, because we don't know what's happening at Otago and other universities along this line as well. Well, we actually do, because this sort of indoctrination is part of their strategy too, particularly at teachers' colleges or the education departments of. There is a tertiary education minister, forgive me, is that Penny Simmons still, or she lost that portfolio?
Yep. No. She's the minister.
Okay. Sorry, but the government spends millions, hundreds of millions of dollars a year in tertiary education. They are the primary funder of tertiary education in this country, and yet we let these organisations essentially get away with basically starting their own fiefdoms, taking the money, thanks very much, and, well, starting to go the way they are. Isn't it time for government, Parmjeet, to start to demand some accountability for the taxpayer resources going into those institutions?
Oh, that's what ACT has been doing, and that is what I have been doing by calling the university to make this paper optional. Because, as you said, universities are independent, but they are also funded by taxpayers, and they should be serving a purpose. And that's why ACT takes interest in these issues, and that's why we have been ensuring that students are getting to study what will be good for them. And you will also note that I have a members' bill in the ballot, which is the Education and Training Equal Treatment Amendment Bill, which is to stop allocation of resources, funding, or opportunities on the basis of ethnicity. So we really want to stop that kind of things happening at our universities, because universities should be providing for students what is best for students and all students, irrespective of their ethnic background. And
so
is
that bill that you've got in the ballot, is that going to stop, well, for example, I think 40% of all of the admissions to Auckland University's medical school are based on ethnicity and culture. Is that the kind of thing you intend to stop?
That will be part of it. So, yeah, that will be part of it. And accommodation on the basis of accommodation allowance on the basis of ethnicity, additional tutorial support to Māori and Pacifica students, practice exams for some ethnicities, and then we know about Māori and Pacifica spaces. We also know about additional points being allocated towards getting funding to travel to conferences on the basis of ethnicity. These things need to stop, because resources or opportunities should be allocated on the basis of need or merit.
Yes, and I guess the other argument to that is there's no actual proof that what is commonly known as positive discrimination actually uplifts those ethnicities or cultures, do they? Because it's been going on for years, decades now, without a consequent rise in the educational standards necessarily of Māori or Pacifica in this country.